Yeah, that was last night at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Long wait. They got the baseball in, and it looked like it was going to be an unpleasant day of baseball. We were like, oh, God, you waited all day? Imagine being the person that waited 5 hours. And then they still had one hit until, like, the 7th inning, right? Like, what? I'm trying to remember exactly the timing of when. Because I looked up and I'm like, God, they still have one freaking hit. One. But if you waited around all day, your patience paid off as they rallied for 2 in the 8th. And then 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. When it looked like all hope was lost, James McCann, the hero, as the Orioles rally to beat the Kansas City Royals and win the series. So,
for the first time this week, I think I can confidently say the Orioles will not play baseball today.
Yeah, that's great.
So
that's great. Yeah, that's. Do you want to do the weather bit anyway?
Do
you think they could play baseball
today? I think they will. If they had a game scheduled, I think they could have gotten it in.
Probably be able to play today, but no baseball on the docket today. The Orioles are off before they play their first road game of the year tomorrow, and they play their first series on the road this weekend in Pittsburgh. It is a Thursday edition of GCR. Today's show is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com, who proudly sponsor County Sports Zone. CountySports.zone is the website. It's got all of the latest when it comes to high school sports, scores, schedules, updates, rankings, news, play pick'em, everything for the spring, high school, boys and girls lacrosse, baseball, softball, find it all. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. A lot to do on the program today, coming up a little bit later on this hour. In fact, throughout the course of the morning, we're going to be chatting with a couple of Baltimore natives whose names are going to be called during the NFL draft, as we will catch up later this hour with Chris Braswell from Alabama by way of St. Francis. I guess it's the other way around. It's of St. Francis by way of Alabama, I think is the way you're supposed to say that.
It is, but St. Francis is the
right,
reason.
I understand. I understand. But, yeah, we're going to catch up with him.
Yeah.
Jalen Green from James Madison, D lineman, he left Baltimore. He's from Baltimore, but he went to good Counsel to play high school. We'll choose not to hold that against him because he is a Baltimore native. Kind of the opposite of the Imani Hansberry situation where he was from PG County, or was he Montgomery County, and then he came up to play in high school at Mount St. Joe. Jalen Green did the other thing, but we're gonna count him anyway because he's a Baltimore native. Jalen Green will join us a little bit later on this morning. Our first opportunity to chat with the new Loyola basketball coach, Josh Loeffler, the former Loyola assistant and former Johns Hopkins head coach, who after a year out at Cincinnati comes back to take over as the head coach at Loyola. And also we'll make our first Bowie Baysox trip of the season as we'll catch up with Jud Fabian. All of that on the program today. First up, we've got a new man of the match as we will move over. Jordan Westberg. The Scotch tape didn't help at all.
Really?
Yeah, in fact.
So what?
I got to get those push pins, I think.
Oh, okay. I saw glue sticks back there. We could
Well, then we got it, but that wouldn't work for moving it because like somebody could win man of the match again, and then we got to move them down. Like if Grayson delivers a gem on Friday night, well, actually we won't be here. Hopefully there'll be another man of the match this weekend. We got to figure out a way to signify someone's won more. Like maybe we put a little, I don't know, tally of how many times they've won next to their picture, something like that. James McCann.
Yeah, I guess the tally makes the most sense.
Yeah. Man of the match. There you go. After his walk-off.
James the man.
Well, what is it? My buddy Danny May said. They don't call him James McCann. Nice job, Danny. I enjoyed that. Look, weird day. A lot to talk about from that. You know, my buddy John in Little Rock kept messaging me about the Orioles' decision. The confusion for me is why they ever had everybody show up at the ballpark at 1 o'clock to begin with. The statement they put out, look, we are doing everything in our power to play the games as scheduled. I understand it because people do make plans. They see what time the game is. Believe it or not, people come in from out of town for games. They might get a hotel room. The Orioles want as much as possible to play the games as scheduled when scheduled. So I do understand that. Now, some of you would say, what about opening day last year? I get it. I get it. I think every sports/entertainment company would tell you that they want there to be an amount of sanctity as much as possible to the scheduling of the event. That said, we all saw the same thing, and it never looked like it was particularly likely that they were going to be able to play in the afternoon yesterday. I think a lot of us would argue that we didn't think it was quite as bad as we thought it was going to be, but then there are parts of town where they were like, I'm telling you, both my kids' basketball hoop and my grill were knocked down yesterday during the course of the storms. Prayers for my grill. Please, pour one out.
Is the basketball hoop okay too?
I'm not worried about the basketball hoop. That basketball hoop can be replaced. The grill, it would be a very sad day if there's permanent damage to that grill. That grill has gotten me through a lot of things. It was a gift when we got married. I love that grill very deeply. It means a great deal to me now. Now, if there's any thought, it perhaps would allow me to go grill shopping. Yeah, but I don't know if you guys have noticed, grills aren't cheap. And Daddy's not exactly swimming in money over here.
You're not?
Believe it or not. I know it seems like I'm killing it by the very expensive wardrobe that I wear every day. See why you would think that, but believe it or not, I'm just getting by. That's why I work 75 jobs.
I thought that meant that's why you could, afford to get a new grill every week.
No.
It's the opposite? Okay.
I think there was enough for the Orioles to have been able to say, let's go ahead and announce the night before that we're moving the game back to 5 o'clock. Even if you didn't know if that would be the time that you could start it, but it would buy you time to look at it and figure it out. I think that would have behooved them. And in hindsight, I'm sure that they are feeling an amount of that as well. I intend to give grace. Remember why we're so angry about the opening day thing from last year? Because they could have played a baseball game that day. Because sometimes the weather reports are wrong. And this is a thing that they have to deal with too. And you got a team that wants to get out of town. The Royals it might very well be that they ran it by the Royals, and the Royals said, dude, if we can play at 1, we want to play at 1 because we got a flight to get on. We got a game today. Where are they playing today?
They're back home,
right?
Yeah,
they're back. We got to go back.
Playing the White Sox, not real team.
Well, technically a baseball game. So it's possible that they had those conversations with the Royals, and I don't know. The Royals might well have said, dude, if there's any chance we can play at 1, we want to play at 1. We want to get out of here. The Orioles had the blessing of, I'm guessing they probably chose to travel after the game last night. I didn't bother to check into it. But they're only traveling to Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm sure they're choosing to fly. They didn't have to. I'm sure they are. But they could have just said, we'll push that flight back to Thursday. So it is complicated, and I give them grace about that. They did the right thing. They understood people are going to want to leave the ballpark. Let them back in. Don't do the no re-entry thing. They also did the quiet, hey, if you guys want to move downstairs, we're not gonna be jerks about it for this one. Like, we're not gonna have the ushers come by. Let me see that ticket. And they offered for everybody, whether you used your ticket yesterday or not, you get the voucher for a ticket to another game. Like, they did all of the things they should do given the circumstances. I am not inclined to beat people up about whether it's out of your control. If you do nothing, then we got problems. But if you do everything to try to make people whole in the process, like, should they have announced earlier in the day to the ticket holders, like, hey, we get it, today is a mess. If you're choosing not to come down, we get it, and we'll give you – maybe they could have done that. Maybe they could have made that announcement earlier. There might be someone who felt like with the value of their ticket they had to come and sit in the rain and wait, and that person – if they would have known they could have exchanged it for a ticket to another game, they wouldn't have subjected themselves to just standing around in the muck. But I think they did everything about as well as can be done, short of, ideally, we all kind of saw the same thing. They should have immediately said, hey, look, we're just not playing at 1 o'clock tomorrow. But I just don't know there's too much involved for that. You'd have to do some serious reporting, and it's just not that deep. So I'm not really all that interested in doing it. They got the baseball game in, and they won. So that's all that I care about. Now, I guess we need to – Corbin Burnes is probably going to have to be traded, released, whatever. I mean, that was
2 runs. Are you kidding
me?
me?
Shameful. Didn't even finish the 6th inning. That's the other thing that I thought about.
What was the point?
But I did have that feeling of I don't know what it does to a starting pitcher, particularly.
Sitting 5 hours, yeah.
And there was a part of me that said in a perfect world, the Orioles at some point during the day decide we're not throwing Burnes today. We'll switch that. He can pitch Friday, and they either bullpen it or they go to an emergency starter. I guess the issue being, who is their emergency starter? We would have assumed it would be Bauman or Aiken, but they have not really been used as longmen so far. Like, they've been used kind of as specialists to this point. So,
and then you would have been, based on the way the game went, like, you would have just essentially been throwing the game away.
I think the other part of it is, but like, you can consider that a little bit more if you had won on Tuesday and you had already won the series. But having the importance of winning the series and not having a good option to turn to, I think they were kind of stuck. Like, they had to start Corbin Burnes. It would be really interesting to me, like, what if Corbin Burnes got the flu yesterday? You know what I mean? Like, who's pitching? It's an interesting thing. Julio Teheran did, by the way, sign with the Mets, so there will be no reunion.
Maybe he's
there.
pitching game 2 because they have a doubleheader today. Maybe
do they? Perhaps
That'd be
they're like,
hilarious.
hey, bro, come on in. Need somebody to throw. They offered him like $1 million, and he's like, nah, more. Like, all right, $2 million if you can be available today.
Yeah, they have still not announced a game 2 starter, so yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it's Julio, Orioles legend Julio Teheran that's going to get the start. The other thing, is the consternation. How many runs did the Norfolk Tides score last night? 26?
40. Oh,
was it? I think.
Is
That what they finished with? I actually stopped count. I kept seeing all the updates last night, and I never went back to look to see what the final was.
It was 20. Yeah, I think it was 26-11. I think that was. I had the alternate over 38 and.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that one's gonna hurt you for some time.
It was
really gonna.
It was tough.
I thought they led up to at the end. It's like they weren't even trying. A lot of consternation about the numbers that certain players are putting up in Norfolk and what other players in Baltimore aren't doing. And it's a complicated conversation. It's a really we are disseminating it. We are discussing it at the lowest common denominator level. What is a complicated conversation, and we knew it was a complicated conversation coming into the season. We talked about this, at least here. I don't know what everybody else is talking about, but here we've been talking about the old guard, new guard thing since they reported to spring training, if not before that. That's a thing that exists. There were a lot of us that thought that perhaps this past offseason there may have been some movement. Remember, at the end of last year, a lot of us genuinely believed that the Orioles would look to move at least one of their veterans that they weren't intending to sign long-term to both be able to bolster another area of the team, be it the bullpen, whatever it would be, or to fortify. I talked a lot about how you could have guys coming and going, try to fortify your minor leagues as you're trading away prospects. That's sort of the Tampa Bay Rays model. Now, will the Orioles still try to be the new Tampa in the David Rubenstein era? I don't know. But that was what John Angelos said they were going to be, and when John Angelos was still the owner of the team last year, I thought it made a lot of sense. We can't be surprised by this conversation because it was always the subtext. The subplot of the 2024 Orioles was these guys that are not under contract past next season. In Anthony Santander's case, obviously not past this season. And the guys that are behind them that we think are a part of this. This was always going to be the case. As I said yesterday, the only one that's really, well, it's twofold. The only ones that are worth screaming about are, why isn't one of these guys here playing second base? And the easy thing to say is, why isn't Jackson Holliday here playing second base? But it's not just Jackson Holliday. As I pointed out, if it wasn't going to be Jackson Holliday, then why isn't Connor Norby here playing second base? That one is incredibly fair because the Orioles don't have a second baseman. There isn't one on the team. I mean, Jordan Westburg could be, but then they don't have a third base. It's whatever you want to say. There is a spot that is there. Why isn't one of those guys playing second base for the Baltimore Orioles? And any one of you that is lodging that complaint, completely understood. The next layer to it gets more unique. The next layer to it is the thing that I was talking about yesterday that I couldn't really get Buck Showalter to bite about, like when it is utterly and completely absurd to suggest that the Orioles should move on from either Cedric Mullins or Austin Hayes today. It's nonsense. You are 1 week into the baseball season. And this is where I guess I will default to what Buck said. With guys that have track records and guys that are outstanding defensive players. Sure, I get it. Cedric Mullins doesn't have an arm. We all know that. But the ground that he covers that is better than almost anyone in baseball.
And after seeing Jorge Mateo last night, like,
yeah,
I'm done with the center field experiment with Jorge Mateo.
You've got a high-level center fielder with a track record. By the way, he also, I know it didn't matter because if, Jordan Westburg had hit a solo home run that counted the same way, but he also got the rally going that helped you win the game on Monday night. And as we remember, he was responsible for, literally every memorable win from a season ago. Saying just move on from Cedric Mullins 1 week into a baseball season is poppycock. Now, bigger picture, when do you make a Cedric Mullins decision? That one I don't have the answer for. That's the thing I was trying to talk about yesterday. When do you talk about that? I don't know, but it ain't 1 week into the baseball season. And you're just flapping your gums or flapping your Twitter fingers for exercise. That's nonsense. Same thing for Austin Hayes. It's nonsense. It's you playing fantasy baseball. And we got to do the other part of this too. The bit where you're trying to look at all these guys down there hitting 400. Do you think that's what they'd be doing at the major league level?
Yes.
I mean, get a hold of yourself. Which doesn't mean you don't have a point. It's just that your point is falling flat. No one's saying these guys are going to stink at the major league level, but the idea that any of them are just going to come up here and immediately on day that Kyle Stowers, because he's performed well in spring training and performed well for another week at AAA, is going to completely rewrite his history and is going to be a 340 hitter and is going to hit 30 bombs if he plays. Get a hold of yourself. But that doesn't mean you're wrong to start thinking about the timing and the decisions that the Orioles have to make. There's somewhere between what we're doing on Twitter and what the Orioles are doing is a relevant conversation and meaningful, somewhere between those two things. What is that conversation? Again, we use the term good problem to have, but as I continue to say over and over again, it's still wrong to call it a problem. There's one thing that's obvious. People that are getting after Ryan O'Hearn, like these guys are better. Ryan O'Hearn isn't an everyday player. Ryan O'Hearn is also a specialist. You want there to be everyday at-bats for 13 guys, and that's tough. I am very comfortable with both Jorge Mateo and Ryan O'Hearn's roles on the team as specialists.
Having them start 3 nights a week?
Something like that.
Well, that might even be
too much, probably, right? But as specialists, what they offer, Jorge Mateo hits lefties. We have the evidence. Jorge Mateo hits lefties and can run and can steal you a bag and can maybe come around from first on a ball down the line and score a game-winning run like, say, in the game where you clinched the playoffs last year. Or the AL East, sorry, not the playoffs. Or was that the playoff one? Which one were they clinching that day against them?
Was it the same?
That was the Sunday afternoon. No. They clinched the playoffs, and because the Rays were still right there.
Yeah.
My brain.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. We all remember it. Adam Frazier hits a ball down the line. Jorge Mateo, like a psychopath, races around the bases because he's Jorge Mateo. His role on the team matters. You can argue, is he put out there too much? Fine. It's a conversation that we can have.
He can hit. I don't know. I mean, if he can't play center field, he can hit lefties all he wants. I don't want to pull Mullins out of a lineup.
I am.
Every time there's a lefty, like that's.
No, I don't think he should be playing center field every time there's a lefty. I agree with that, but I think he should be playing against lefties.
He should be starting.
Yeah, I do. Like, he hits lefty. What are we doing? Why are we overthinking this? He hits lefties.
I mean, I'm fine with him being guy number 12 or 13 on the bench, and he comes in every single game doing exactly.
What is the point of having this data if we're not going to use it though? Like, if you know someone hits lefties, why are you going to leave them on the bench when you're facing a lefty? What is the point of that?
Because he can't play center field.
There's not the only position.
He shouldn't be playing second base.
I don't think he's a second baseman either. I agree with that. I don't think it would be the end of the world if every now and then Gunnar has to slide over and play third base on those days. Like, I don't think that's the worst thing.
You don't think there's much to everyone pointing to how beneficial it could be to Gunnar just having one position and being the everyday shortstop?
I've heard that a lot, and I'm not saying there's nothing to it by any stretch of the imagination, but I just don't think it's the end of the world if Jackson Holliday, what Bordy said the other day, you got to keep him fresh. Sometimes it's short, too, even if he's going to be a second baseman. Like, I don't think it would be the end of the world if you say, hey, this guy definitively hits lefties. We need to have him in the lineup. We're not really comfortable with him much of anywhere else. He's got to play short. So for this day, Gunnar goes over and plays third. At this point, I have so much faith and trust in Gunnar that, my God. You know what I mean? Like, the man's middle name might as well be baseball. You know what I mean? Like, he just, everything about him screams he's a baseball player. So I hear it. I'm not trying to say there's nothing to it, but I just don't get terribly worked up about it. Ryan O'Hearn as a specialist, to me, he's available off the bench when you need someone that might be able to put a ball out of the ballpark. That, to me, is a role that I think matters in constructing a 26-man baseball team. That's someone who you can bring in a spot where you're down by 3 and you got 2 runners on and the bottom of the order is due up and you need someone up there to face a righty that can put the fear of God into them. Ryan O'Hearn does that. I am comfortable with Ryan O'Hearn having a spot on the baseball team. The others, we can talk all day about there is absolutely no purpose to me for Tony Kemp to be on the baseball team. None. Zero. Nothing. Nada. I believe that the Orioles had outgrown Ramon Arias, and that was a bummer for me because I liked Ramon Arias, but I couldn't really defend his place on the team coming into the season, and I can defend it no longer. Like, I think the Orioles are past Ramon Arias. And I hate saying that because I like Ramon. But the other stuff, we're just talking to talk. Today, you're not moving on from Austin Hayes or Cedric Mullins, and that's crazy. But at what point, how deep into the season before you look and say, hey, the offensive they're not relevant conversation. As I continue to say in baseball circles, they tend to say these things work themselves out. I am not rooting for anyone to get hurt. But I get it. I get that it's a long season, there's a lot of games, and there might be an obvious spot. Today's show is also brought to you by Atman's Deli in Harbor Point. AtmansDeli.com is the website for you to find their daily specials. It's everything that you love about Atman's Deli, but now also with a full bar. Atman's Deli is great. The corned beef, the desserts, the soups, the hand-rolled bagels, all of it, and a full bar. Make your plans to stop by the new Atman's in Harbor Point, atmansdeli.com. We had to do this a little bit earlier on because of his schedule and getting ready for the NFL draft, but an opportunity to catch up with the Baltimore native, someone who perhaps could be the Ravens' first-round pick. He is Chris Braswell from Alabama, right here on GCR. And we're expecting that our next guest name is going to be called very early in the NFL draft. He is a Baltimore native, the pride of St. Francis. It's a pleasure to welcome to GCR Chris Braswell from Alabama, who's with us now on the program. Chris, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
No problem, man. I'm glad to be here.
Man, it's great to hear your voice. Chris, if I could just sort of big picture, I know you haven't lived the dream yet, right? Like there's still steps in this process. But just going through this and the experiences you've already had and being a part of the combine, everything that you've already been able to do where it's clear this is the moment, it's all coming together for you. What has it meant to you to reach this point in the process and in your life and all of these goals that you've been looking to achieve?
Yeah, being a kid from Baltimore, there's a lot of negativity in the city, but, just coming from Baltimore and being a kid that's able to go throughout this whole process is amazing. I've always dreamed of this as a kid and, always watched the draft, always watched the combine, always watched the whole process for players to get into the NFL, and even was an NFL fan and obviously a Ravens fan growing up. But, just soaking in all of this process, being a kid from Baltimore is great. I want to be that example for kids in Baltimore that they can make it out the city as well.
That's awesome, man. I imagine, like, you've got to be focused and do you allow yourself, like, moments to appreciate it, to stop as you're going through this? Like, this really is my dream?
Yeah, I do take, like, small moments, but I kind of don't get too high up on myself, because obviously I got to remain focused and, keep working because I'm not drafted yet. But, it's definitely a great process, and I definitely do take moments. And obviously my family is a big reason, a big part of it. And, they love all of the moments as well.
That's awesome, man. That's really, really cool. Chris, let's go back a little ways before we talk about today, right? From growing up here to ending up first at St. Francis, right? Like why was it St. Francis? I know obviously it was a very exciting time for St. Francis football with Biff. Why did you want to be there, and what did that do for you?
Ultimately, I chose St. Francis because of the competition that was brought to my attention, and to be able to play on ESPN, play at the University, and play a national schedule, it drawed a lot of attention to me. And going to St. Francis, it just made me a better person, better man. I was able to go out there on the football field and play against a lot of great competition that helped me, get into college and be able to play on a high level at college. Also, off the field, I was able to graduate, had great grades, and I was able to learn a lot within the school system, which ultimately helped me graduate as well.
You mentioned the competition, right? Like it always felt like there was kind of I don't know, an us against the world type of mentality that existed at St. Francis. And in that way, it was sort of a reflection of who we are as a city, right? Because there's an awful lot of that in Baltimore. Have you continued to take that with you as you've gone to obviously, you're at Alabama. It's maybe not as much up at us against the world, but have you taken that with you as you've continued along in this process?
Yes. Obviously, at St. Francis, we had that mentality as we were kicked out of the MIA, and I've taken that mentality somewhat to a degree to, Alabama, being from Baltimore. A lot of people don't think guys from Baltimore or whatever can play football or compete in sports, so I just kind of bring that mentality to Bama as well.
I mean, and it served you quite well, as obviously you had a great deal of success. Chris Braswell is with us on GCR. Was it the same thought process for why you ended up at Alabama, like playing the best of the best? Was that the same concept?
Yes, sir. Ultimately chose the University of Alabama because of the same reasons. It was very attractive. Pretty much the same reason why I chose St. Francis: the winning culture, the Bama standard, just the discipline, and just going out to be able to compete with the best guys and in the best conference in college football. And I felt like that the University of Alabama was the best college team for me to accomplish my goals.
And you certainly accomplished a lot of goals while you were there. What is it like? How much do you feel like that prepares you for being a professional? Not to take a knock at anybody else, but that maybe in ways that other people aren't quite as prepared, just because you were at a program that feels like about as close as you can possibly be to playing in the NFL.
Yeah, it was great, and it helped me a lot because, especially on the defense, we run like a pro-style defense, so I'm able to, pick up during these Zooms, some of these Zoom meetings that I have, I'm able to pick up on NFL terminology because of the way how we ran defense. Just the overall way how we run the program, we try to be professional as possible, wearing suits, travel suits for the games, like suit and tie and everything. Just the whole nature of being professional.
Chris Braswell, Baltimore native, pride of St. Francis, with us here on GCR. Chris, what got into you this year? Was it just opportunity? Like, you exploded this season. Is it as simple as, hey, that was always there, I just needed that chance?
Yeah, I was always a great player, talented, had a lot of talent. I just needed the opportunity, and once I got the opportunity this year, I was like, I'm not letting nothing, get in my path, and I'm gonna go out there and dominate and help my team ultimately.
Does it bother you that, like, you've accomplished this much, and like everything about you check every box, right? The size, the speed, everything, you got it all, and the production, it's there against the best competition in football, and yet, like, you're not considered the top, edge rusher in the draft. It's like, it's crazy to me every time we talk about you. I'm like, why are we talking about Chris Braswell being available at 30th in this draft? I don't understand it. Like, does that bother you at all?
To an extent, but at the end of the day, the tape is all that matters. Your tape is your resume, and I put a lot out there on tape, and I feel like the tape overrides everything.
Yeah. What do you think people are most missing about you if they don't have you ranked at the top of their board?
I wouldn't say nothing on the field. I just would say just don't have the media credibility like some of these other guys do. But you turn on my tape, turn on their tape, you're gonna see a dominant player.
What is to this point? Like, if somebody says, "Hey, Chris, what's the moment that you had that you think most proves what it is that you're going to do at the next level?" What would you point to?
I would say in a lot of our big games last year, me stepping up, play A&M, had some big pressures, big QB hits, and big sacks, and also a blocked field goal for a touchdown.
Yeah.
During the Tennessee game, had a strip sack to turn that game around, and also another sack late in the game to turn that game around when we were down 21-7. Same thing with the Auburn game, we were down and was able to turn that around with a couple big plays that I made. So the teams out there, anybody, I'm a playmaker when it counts.
All right, so as we look towards what could be, let me go back a second because you referenced you did grow up. You were a big Ravens fan when you were growing up, correct?
Correct.
You were like, I'm trying to do the math on this. Were you maybe like right past the era of like Ed Reed and Ray Lewis?
Yeah, I was able to watch Ray Lewis.
Okay.
And Ed Reed go to the playoff game when they played Houston at the Ravens Stadium.
Oh, that's cool.
Year.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool. I would think though that like given the position that you play, is there some Terrell Suggs influence in your game?
A little bit, but he definitely was one of my favorite players. He was very, very, very nasty on the field. Had a great long arm, different counter moves. Was very versatile. He was a great player.
Yeah, obviously. Chris, you look, man. You're about to have a new favorite team. I'm not trying to like draw too much. You understand that this would be one of the coolest stories ever for us if this worked out a certain way. Have you allowed yourself to imagine that possibility at all? Like, do you even let your mind go there? Like, how cool this would be if it were to be the Ravens with the 30th pick?
Yeah, it'd definitely be cool to play for my hometown team, favorite team. Growing up, but ultimately, I'll be happy and blessed to be drafted for any team.
Yep.
But it would be cool to play for the Ravens.
I mean, would you have anyone in your life that it would be most particularly difficult for if it were to be, say, the Steelers that were to select you?
I mean, our family, they don't like the Steelers, but my dad definitely, I remember him telling me, like, as a kid, if I ever got drafted to the Steelers, this might be the day where he, get a half Ravens jersey, half Steelers jersey, and ultimately he'll want the Steelers to win at that point, but he said he'll compromise and make a half.
I do appreciate that too from your dad, where he's like, "Look, man, you're my son. I'm gonna root for you, but like I can't completely abandon my love for the Ravens either." Like,
yeah,
I appreciate that, man. That is hardcore. That is passion right there. Chris, like the tradition, we referenced those guys. The tradition of what the Ravens have done defensively. Like, do you feel like part of that is kind of in your blood? Like, you grew up with sort of that edge and that being something that you saw at all times?
Yeah, the Ravens, Baltimore Ravens play a great defense, attack style defense, head hunters, 11 hats to the ball. I played that type of defense since I was at St. Francis and since I was at Bama as well. So, it's definitely in me for sure.
Do you remember what the moment was for you? Like, whatever age it would have been, like the moment that it struck you, this is real for me. I'm really going to have a chance to do this for the rest of my life.
I want to say around my sophomore year of high school. I played my sophomore year. I didn't think that it was like sophomore year. I just thought it was average. And then my coach ended up making my tape, and he just put it out there. And like a lot of college coaches was like, coming and stopping by to visit St. Francis to, give me scholarships and everything like that. And then like I think that summertime or something like that, like the rankings and stuff started coming out, and I was like, oh, like I actually good at this. So it was kind of around my sophomore year, like probably literally around this time was when he started to make the highlight tape and all that other stuff. So yeah, it was great.
I mean, clearly it's been, full speed ahead ever since that moment for you, and that continues to this point. One more, because I actually work over at St. Francis now a little bit with Coach Masai, and I've been doing their games the last couple years. To see how that program, like the foundation that you guys laid, because I think that a lot of people on the outside maybe assume that like St. Francis has always been, a major program, but to know the foundation that you guys laid and how that's continued, how much pride do you have in the fact that like you guys established St. Francis as something real?
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in that. My nephew, he goes to the school as well. So, I try to come back to the school all the time, talk to the kids, get back and just keep them motivated and reiterate that, hey, we built this program from the ground up for y'all so that y'all can have the same opportunities that we had and ultimately be better than the teams that we was on. So it's definitely great to go back to the school and everything and support.
That's awesome, man. Chris, what about, are you an Orioles fan too?
I don't even really watch baseball.
Really? So was it always football for you growing up?
Yeah, it was always football. I mean, I probably been to maybe 2 Oriole games, and then I think I've been to what is it, the Aberdeen.
Aberdeen Ironbirds, sure, yeah.
I've been to one of those games, but like I was more only football only. Like baseball, like it was kind of boring to watch to me. I just feel like it'd be a little better if I was playing it, but I don't know. I really just never really got down with the baseball.
Hey, man, it's worked out okay for you. It's worked out quite all right. And we'll let you, if the Orioles win the World Series, we'll let you come to the parade anyway, right?
I'm just Baltimore. I still support all Baltimore teams.
That's awesome, man. Hey, Chris, so happy for you and everything that you've accomplished so far, man. Can you remind everybody, you're not on, are you on Twitter? I was looking for you earlier. Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, I have a Twitter page from high school. I mean, I rarely use it, but it's there.
But on Instagram, everybody can give you a follow. It's cbj.10, correct?
Correct, cbj.10.
Awesome, man. Chris, as I said, really happy for you and rooting for you. You know this will get very, very uncomfortable if it goes the other way and it ends up being Pittsburgh. And, we'll still hope for the best for you, but it's going to be very difficult for us, and I hope you understand that. If it ends up being Baltimore, it'll be one of the great stories of all time. So happy for you, and best of luck moving forward. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
I appreciate that. Appreciate you for having me on here.
That's Chris Braswell from Alabama. When we come back in, we'll meet new Loyola basketball coach Josh Loeffler here on GCR.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hungry? With 7 locations throughout Maryland, Glory Days Grill is always right around the corner. They have wings, burgers, salads, sandwiches, and drinks to satisfy everyone, as well as tons of televisions and sound delivered right to your phone. Glory Days is the best place to watch football or whatever your favorite sport is. While you're there, be sure to check out Goose Flight's Lager, named in honor of legendary Raven Tony Goose Siragusa. $2 of every can is donated to the Goose Flights Foundation. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
What company makes your home more energy efficient, purifies your air, kills all viruses, and qualifies you for $6,000 in rebates? A.J. Michaels Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis at ajmichaels.com.
Oh, honey, we better stop for gas soon. Let's pull into that Royal Farms.
Ugh, gas is so expensive.
Nope, it'll be cheaper than you think.
Why's that?
I signed up for Rofo Pay on the Royal Farms app. Now we save 15 cents per gallon at all Royal Farms.
Wow, that'll save us a ton of money. I love you more every day.
Well, then don't get a speeding ticket this trip, okay?
Sign up for Rofo Rewards and upgrade to Rofo Pay and save 15 cents a gallon on gas for a limited time. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Jeremy Kahn here. The ultimate sports betting experience in Maryland is at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook. Join me at either location in Canton or in Towson and place your bets in person and be a part of the action. It's the best in-class sports wagering experience, complete with the ultimate TV package, ensuring you can catch every game all day, every day. Their state-of-the-art facilities bring Las Vegas energy right here to Maryland just in time for postseason football. So visit the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook in Canton and Towson and elevate your game day experience and hang out with me to bet, watch, and win at the Turtle.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria. A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis, ajmichaels.com.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR. If you missed Stan and Luke and Ross earlier this week, you can find that show, facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab or go to youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. Stan will get together with Eric Garfield later today. That show every Thursday, talking more on the prospect side, but you can check that out a little bit later on today, facebook.com/PressBoxSports. We also had to do this a little bit earlier on, but an opportunity to catch up with the new head basketball coach at Loyola.
Well, it's a pleasure to welcome in for the first time in a while and the first time in his new gig for sure, the new head basketball coach at Loyola, who was once an assistant at Loyola, and you may remember as the former head coach at Johns Hopkins. He is Coach Josh Loeffler, and he's with us this morning here on GCR. Coach, it's Glenn. It's great to see you. It's great to chat with you. Congratulations, and thanks for taking the time for us.
Thank you, Glenn. It's great to be here. It's great to be here at Loyola. It's great to be back in Baltimore, and it's great to be on your show.
Josh, just the whirlwind of this past week and what it means to you to be back here in this place where you have spent so much time in your career and kind of how perfect this seems from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, perfect is a strong word, right? But, I think that it's a thrill. Baltimore has become really, aside from the home I grew up in, this is as much home as any place has ever been for me. 10 years in this city before my stint at Cincinnati this year. And, I wasn't really thinking that this might even be an option. But when it became an opening and there was mutual interest, it started really reminding me of just how much I loved this place and, this city. And it is in very, very many ways, it is almost too good to be true.
Coach, did you as you took the job at Cincinnati, was it purposeful for, I want to get to the D1 level as a head coach, and I feel like this is something that I have to do in order to do that? What was the thought process when you decided to make that jump?
It was purposeful in that I wanted to challenge myself with a great opportunity to coach with a great program in Cincinnati in their first year in the Big 12. And it just seemed like a wonderful opportunity to get better as a coach, to compete at the highest level, and to reacclimate myself with the highest level of college basketball so that I can grow and understand what the landscape is, but also just have an unbelievable new challenge. And really that's what that move was based on, was working with great people led by Wes Miller at Cincinnati and trying to help Cincinnati compete for a Big 12 championship, which is, it's pretty fun to go in and try and score in Fall Allen Fieldhouse, and win those games. So that was, it was really about just getting better and growing as a coach. And, then opportunities can arise as you move forward. But really, I don't think about things much in that way. It's more about trying to just have great experiences as a coach and a person in the moment.
Did you, as I go back a little ways, you obviously know the uniqueness of the Patriot League, and the uniqueness of the spot that Loyola's in, right? Like, it's a little bit different than a lot of other leagues where the type of kids that you're able to recruit. How much do you feel like you benefit, like the fact that you've been there before benefits you in taking on this role as head coach at Loyola?
Well, I hope it just gives me more context, where like I'll be aware of some of the programs that we're facing. I'll be familiar with some of the coaches in the league, some of the styles of play. I'll be familiar with those things, but then also just, I do have a familiarity with the type of student athlete that you recruit at an institution like Loyola. And I have a familiarity with Loyola in general. So it's always nice when you're starting somewhere, when you actually know where the HR department is, where you know how to get to the training room. So hopefully it just, my learning curve isn't as steep, because I do have a familiarity with this place, with many of these people, and with the league that we compete in.
He is Josh Loeffler. He is the new basketball coach at Loyola. He is with us here on GCR. Coach, the success that you found at Hopkins, right? And I get that had been established, and you walked in kind of after a legend a little bit, and you were able to sustain that. But how much does that translate from the D3 level to being a D? Like, how much is it, hey, coaching is coaching, and it kind of doesn't matter where you are, that if you can do it well, you can do it well?
I'd like to think that coaching is coaching, but I'd also, and I hope it translates 1-to-1, because we won a lot of games at Hopkins. It would be great if we could win as many here. But I also know that you must, as a coach, just like in every profession, you have to adapt to the place you're at, and you must make sure that what you're doing to try to win basketball games and build a great program and run a great program fits the place you're at. So, what we did at Hopkins isn't going to be the exact same as what we do at Loyola, because these are two different places with different people, different infrastructures. Coaching is coaching in many ways, but with that, every great coach I've ever met, been around, worked with, adjusted to his surroundings. So I think that's what we're going to have to do here. We're going to have to make sure that we stay true to ourselves as coaches, but that we're doing the best thing for Loyola and not staying with what worked somewhere else, because that might not work here. We need to find out what works best here and then dive into that full steam ahead.
What about your knowledge of the local recruiting scene? Like, that's got to give you a leg up as you take on a job like this.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm very wary of saying, "Oh, that has to help me." That has to,
right.
I think sometimes the guys go like, "Oh, I know everybody. We'll have the Baltimore recruiting scene on lock," and it's like, it's never that easy, guys. It's never that easy. So, I do have, I think, good relationships with many stakeholders in the Baltimore basketball scene. But also I was operating from a different place when I was at Hopkins and when I was an assistant here. So the relationship will grow and evolve with everybody around here as I'm in this role here as the head coach. But hopefully the fact that I know how to get to certain gyms without getting lost is helpful. And the fact that I can walk into some gyms and see familiar faces is going to benefit Loyola in the long run. But I don't pretend that I'm the only guy who knows these coaches and players. There's a lot of great people out there in our area and across the globe and the country who are familiar with the great basketball scene in this city. Hopefully I'm able to take advantage of some relationships and build new ones as well. And it's a great, vibrant basketball town, and we're hoping to tap into that market as much as we can.
Josh, I understand that you haven't accomplished yet what you want to accomplish, but just getting to the point in your career where you are a D1 head coach, that is an accomplishment in and of itself. What does that part of this mean to you, given how much you've had to grind in many different roles and at many different levels in order to get this opportunity?
Well, Glenn, I appreciate that. Thank you. Number one, I'm very, very hesitant to use the word grind. Unless I'm making my coffee in the morning. I've been really lucky, man. Like, I've been in coaching. This was my 21st season coaching college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I know I look young, so it's hard to believe. But I've never really felt like I had to work a day in many ways. I get to wear shorts and sweats to work a lot, and that's pretty nice. But to say I grinded, I used to come home at every now and then I'd come home at a late hour, and my dad would be waking up, to go to his second job, you know what I mean? Or he'd be coming home from the night shift. And, I try to keep that in mind. There's a lot of people, you say grind, there's a lot of people who would kill to just go like, I can't believe I got to go watch this other AAU game this weekend. Right. Take a flight. There's people who would like get to go to Vegas to watch basketball. That's great. So, I've been really fortunate, man. And I try to keep that in mind. Having said that, it's surreal at times to think about, I didn't play at the University of Maryland. I wasn't an NBA player, but I have tried to continually get better at coaching and use my abilities. And I'm glad that Loyola believes in me and has picked me for this job. That's what's really great, is that I feel this support from Loyola and a lot of the basketball and community around here. And that's really, it's really awesome to experience.
So tell me what makes Loyola special. Like, this was, you said it's mutual interest, right? Like when this was an opportunity, part of it obviously is familiarity, but what do you feel like you can tap into in order to, like, Loyola's had very good players, right? In recent years, Cam's playing this weekend, right? In the Final Four, and of course Santi in the NBA. What can you tap into at Loyola in order to be able to succeed and get this program back to the level of getting to the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think it's a beautiful campus. It's an amazing school. We have great programs that, students and student athletes want to study as a part of. But aside from that, and I'll tell you what, that's all at a very high level. From the top down, leadership is excellent. And I think when you're looking at a university and athletic department, you want to evaluate the leadership, because really the people make these places. So from Terry Sawyer to Donna Woodruff to the board of trustees, the alignment really stood out. And then I just think that this is one of the warmest, most welcoming places to go to college that you could ever experience. It's hard to really put it out there where everybody can understand. But when you walk around this campus, when you walk around this community, when you're a member of this community, it is a vibrant, welcoming, and truly it's like a big warm embrace what this community is. I felt that as an assistant. I felt it again yesterday, walking to the Starbucks below my my office, and then having said all that, it's a school that really wants to have a great basketball program. We have student athletes who want to succeed. We have a great athletic department with awesome programs in men's soccer and women's soccer, lacrosse programs. Like there's a lot of great programs, but the student body here wants men's basketball and women's basketball to succeed. There's great support from our student athletes, from our student body. I don't think there's a student body that supports basketball better in the league and maybe the city. And I think when you combine all of that, the campus community, the leadership, the people, the student body, what you have is someplace that it just feels really, really special to go to work every day.
That's well said, Coach. Really well said. All right. And what about your family? What about the wife, your girls? Did they, as fired up as you were about coming back here, did they say, why couldn't we have just stayed forever or anything like that?
They're really excited to be back in Baltimore. That's clear. Anytime you tell an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old that they're moving again,
and that is tough.
Yeah. The wide range of emotions you get to experience and the questions that you get fired off at you are they run from A to Z, man. So like they're excited to be coming back to the, before we moved to Cincinnati, this is the only place my daughter's goes home, so they're excited to be coming back. But anytime you move a family, like the upheaval for kids is like, whoa, when are we moving? How are we moving? Where exactly are we moving? Can we go back to our same house? Like, you're dealing with all that. So I think that we're addressing things one step at a time. But yeah, they're super excited to get back here. And my family, my wife's family, all on the East Coast. Baltimore is home. So I think the joy that will come with moving back here is going to be real, and I'm excited. I'm excited for that too.
Coach, we're excited about having you back here. Very happy for you and your family. I know it's a weird time in coaching. You got to go figure out what your roster looks like, because it's a crazy time for that. So appreciate you taking the time for us this morning. We're going to look forward to doing this as we get closer to the hoop season and during the course of the season. Thanks for spending some time with us.
I look forward to one thing, Glenn. I want to make this very clear.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait till the next time we talk and you go, you're so much better at this than Jimmy Patsos.
The shot fired. Yeah, we love Coach, but I probably in the same time period I would have been able to get one question in, and then he had just gone, and I said, "All right, Jimmy, thanks for stopping by." Love Coach. Josh, thank you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, Glenn. Have a good one.
That's Josh Loeffler, the new basketball coach at Loyola. Appreciate him taking a couple of minutes for us this morning. We are flying along here on a Thursday edition of GCR. And, of course, we've been talking a lot about the Baltimore Ravens' need for an edge rusher. And what if I told you that available in this NFL draft is a Baltimore native who had 15.5 sacks for a really good team last year? Would that intrigue you at all? Because it sure does intrigue me. Joining us now, Baltimore Zone by way of James Madison, and also down at Good Counsel before that. It's a pleasure to welcome into the program Jalen Green, who is with us here on GCR. Jalen, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
No problem at all. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely, man. Jalen, let's take a step backwards, right, before we get to now. Your path, growing up in Baltimore, to ending up leaving town to go to Good Counsel for high school. How did that all come about, and what did that do for you to kind of put you on this path?
Right. So when I was, I think, coming into middle school, my parents, they both, had the idea of, enrolling me into a private school, for obviously the education benefits, but also, just, the football benefits and recruitment and things of that sort. And we started and we tried a couple of times getting into Gilman, a K through 12 school that's local in Baltimore. Just didn't work out the first 2 times, and then tried again for my 8th grade year because we knew that was something we definitely wanted to do as far with me going into high school, getting me enrolled somewhere. And I just got introduced to Good Counsel, took a shadow day visit there, and just really loved the place, and couldn't keep it off my mind. So that's how we ultimately ended up there.
What did that do for you in helping you make this jump, right? Like I don't know if at that point in your life the idea of like the NFL was real, or just a kid having a pipe dream. Every kid dreams of that type of thing. But what did you feel like that opportunity did to sort of get you onto this process?
Right. Well, playing in the NFL, since I, could have told you what I wanted to do at a young age, I think I would have told you that back then.
Right.
But, definitely my time at Good Counsel prepared me, for college. One, academically, it was very challenging, and, definitely was a huge adjustment that I had to make. But also balancing that with football, it was, the tough football schedule, some tough practices, long hours, and long off seasons of committing every day to get better for the season. And I think I drilled in some key principles that I've carried on to the next level, and will continue to carry on going into the NFL at Good Counsel.
So then you end up at Madison, and clearly we all have seen how Madison ended up growing as a program, right? But at the time, did you know that Madison was going to give you the opportunity to make your name and to get you to this level, or were you maybe a little bit worried that, like, boy, I don't know if this is going to be able to continue me on the trajectory to try to live out that dream?
Right. Coming in, I was always comfortable, trusting JMU that, that they developed me and get me ready to play at the next level. I know they had, my first year I saw players go on and do that right in front of me. So that was very perspective setting, seeing that, and seeing these guys accomplish their goals and dreams, and some of those aligning with mine, and just seeing how those guys worked after it and worked towards their goals is just something I always kept in mind, and started implementing myself. And the guys in front of me kind of handed me the blueprint, but it also definitely helped with us transitioning up to the FBS year. Coming in my first 3 seasons, we were at the FCS level still, and then we moved up, made the jump, and we were able to hit the ground running. So, that was definitely great too.
Yeah, hit the ground running, to say the least, man. Like, jeez. What Madison football has become in such a short amount of time. It's really wild to see it. Jalen Green with us here on GCR. Jalen, what got into you this year, right? Like, I know you had been through early on in your career some injury, and I know that, like, the COVID year made things difficult for everybody. But is there anything that you can pinpoint? And sometimes it's just opportunity. I know that's the case. But what led to this just monster season that you had this year?
Right. Well, coming into the year, I had, 4.5 career sacks.
Right.
I knew the kind of year I had to have in order, to draw the kind of attention I wanted to myself. And I truly believe it was just opportunity meeting preparation. Coming in, I was playing behind some really good players, and I had to figure out how to, produce from a role player type of role. Once I figured that out, just started working at, competing for the first, the starting job, and just kept at it, and the opportunity came, and I was able to, make the most of it.
Did you have a feeling? Was it, you line up for the first game like, oh, these guys don't even know what's about to hit them? Or was it at some point during the course of the year like, holy crap, man, like, look what's going on. Look how everything's coming together.
All right. I'd say the spring ball season we had prior to last season, I was extremely confident in my play. I was, feeling really good, making plays every day in practice. And I think, everyone around me was kind of, just gearing, like looking at me like, yeah, like this might be a special year. And like I said, I knew what I had to do coming in. So definitely the confidence factor, was built in that spring and, the season prior to that too as well. But I just think that spring season really had me at a good place with my confidence. And actually, the first game of the year, I ended up with 0 sacks. So I don't think it was the first game where things started clicking. But yeah, I was able to put together a great year. It was a blessing to be a part of.
What would you have finished with if you hadn't gotten hurt? Like, would this have been? Would you maybe set like a new record for sacks in a season if you hadn't gotten hurt?
That was my goal. My goal was I think the record was 22 or maybe 24. But I was shooting for 24 just because, I just wanted to set a new record. But that was my goal.
Man, after a 5-sack, what is it like when you have a 5-sack game, by the way, Jalen? Like, at what point does the other team just sort of say, like, dude, bro, like, it's got to be like a feeling of you might as well not even bother. Like, don't even come back out here for this next series because you already know how it's going to go.
Yeah, it felt great on my end.
Yeah.
I kind of felt unblockable, that makes sense. And, we were able to stop the run pretty good that night. So they had to pass the ball, and, that's what we want as rushers, when we know they have to pass the ball and, we're able to just get after them.
It's got to be the understatement of the century. It felt pretty good on my end. Yeah, I bet it did. I bet that's the case. So, all right, let's cover a couple things. Jalen Green is with us from James Madison, Baltimore native. Jalen, first of all, how is the knee at this point and the difficulty of maybe going through this process coming off a knee injury?
Right. So I believe we're in a really good spot.
Okay.
I got connected with this program called Accelerate ACL. They've worked with pro athletes. They've helped guys like Saquon Barkley come off of his knee deal, and same thing with Breece Hall. So, they got a proven track record, and we're like a month and a week out already, like from our starting point. And I see the benefits and, just the difference that the work we're putting in is making every single day. And so right now what we're working on is we've been working on straight line running for about, I think this is our 4th week. And we just started implementing a little bit of change of direction last week and building on that this week. So just excited, just got to keep being consistent and, just get ready for training camp, which is, 4 months away. And I'm truly excited to see how I will be feeling and looking 4 months from now.
That's the part. So do you feel like this will not maybe linger and that you would be ready to go in the summer?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm confident I'll be ready to go before training camp.
Has it been difficult, like knowing what was in front of you, knowing everything that you had done last year? Have you dealt with like the pain or the frustration of, boy, I feel like I should be out there putting on a show and showing everybody? Like, has that been a tough part of going through this at this time for you?
Oh yeah. One, just not being able to finish the year with my teammates.
Yeah.
Like, we wanted to finish the year undefeated. We had goals as a team, and, I had individual goals I wanted to accomplish. So, it's definitely challenging, mentally, physically, and emotionally, honestly. But what's real encouraging and what, keeps me going is, the dream of, playing at the next level, but also just the encouragement I've seen and how good my knee feels just by keep working. So, I just want to keep working and just stay consistent and keep attacking this thing.
So you know how Smaltimore works. Normally in town, in order to find a connection with somebody, we ask them where they went to school, and that means that we're asking them where they went to high school. That's how it works here. But because you went to high school somewhere else, we got to find a different way. So give me the background. Give me a neighborhood you grew up in, what rec program you were playing in, all of that when you were growing up here.
I lived in like Windsor Mill, Maryland, like the Randallstown kind of area.
Yep.
I played for the Hamilton Tigers. They're like a local middle school team in Baltimore that a lot of really good players have come through there. That's kind of where I got introduced to a lot of the private schools. They would come to our games and, kind of recruit us, if you will. And that's definitely was a huge factor to how I ended up landing at Counsel was, my years playing with Hamilton Tigers.
Did you grow up? I realize that today you have 32 favorite NFL teams. I understand that. That's the way that this works. But did you grow up a big Ravens fan?
I was a big Ravens guy. Especially that year we got that Super Bowl and what was that, 2012?
2012, yeah.
11?
Yep.
2012, yeah. It was great. It was a great experience growing up watching the Ravens and, just being in the city, experiencing that Super Bowl. I grew up and, kind of wanted to get away from the lens of being a fan and, start looking at it like I'm trying to compete with these guys. But I was able to make it to the AFC Championship, the first AFC Championship in Baltimore this
that's cool. Oh, that's really cool that you got to be there for that. Boy, maybe next year you could be on the field for an AFC Championship. And that would be even cooler if it worked out that way. Was there someone in particular that you looked up to? Was there a favorite play? I was talking about this with Chris Braswell earlier. Like as an edge rusher, I think a lot of people would think, Terrell Suggs maybe would be that type of guy. Was there anybody like that was a Raven that you particularly looked up to?
It's kind of tough for me to say this one, but it was, just being an undersized guy. I really, used to love looking at James Harrison.
Oh,
some of the things.
Oh, Jalen. Everything was going so well here. Everything was going so well.
I'm sorry about that one.
James Harrison, technically, by the way, was briefly a Raven, and a lot of people don't know that.
He started out as a Ravens guy.
That is correct. So. Man, you mentioned undersized, right? Like, how much of that stigma have you It's so funny to think of somebody that's listed as 6'1", 245 as being undersized, but I know what you're saying, right? Like, I understand that. How much has that been a stigma that you felt like you've carried with you? And in a way, like, the mentality of our city, it's very much Baltimore against the world, right? Like, that's just who we are. And we talk all the time about, like, sort of a chip on your shoulder being from here. How much have you carried that part of it, that like at every turn you are going to continue to prove people wrong or people that have doubts about you because of your size, because of where you came from, not the SEC, whatever it is?
Right. Me being undersized is honestly what I love about me. It helps me play the game with great leverage consistently and, it makes me difficult to block. I got to give a lot of credit to my my coach these past 2 years at JMU. He, once he said that to me, that's the beautiful thing about you being short, play the game with leverage. It kind of was a very eye-opening moment we had between us two, and I took that and ran with it. I don't see that as a negative. I just see that helps me play football, honestly.
But positionally, right? Because you came in as a D lineman. Like, do you feel like you're a true stand-up guy? Like, what? or maybe is it I feel like I could do any of these things? What do you feel like you're best suited for at the NFL level?
I think playing off the edge, pass rush and getting after the quarterback, pass rush, I think is my strongest asset. But I believe I bring a versatility to the game that allows me to play in coverage, play in space, and I also got a pretty solid understanding of what's going on in the coverage realm of things. So I think the versatility allows me to do a little bit of different things. I could play a little bit off the ball, drop into some coverage, but getting after the quarterback is what I do best.
Yep. By the way, we did see that you had an interception a year ago, right? And some pass breakups. Yeah. You got a little bit more to offer in that way. Jalen, look, again, as I say, I know you're going to be excited no matter who it is, but would it be something even more meaningful if it were to be Baltimore? Like, would that be, the surreal, like, we would all think that would be like a Cinderella story, unlike anything else, right? Like, would it mean that much to you if it worked out that way?
Yeah, it would mean the world to me. It'd be a real dream come true moment, and it'll certainly make like the transition of moving and getting comfortable a lot easier going back home. So no doubt would definitely be a dream come true for me.
Who would it be most difficult for if it were the Steelers, right? Like, who in your family, your group of friends, would maybe struggle the most with the idea of actually rooting for the Steelers if that's where you end up?
It's gonna be my dad, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably gonna have a tough one with that
one. Look, man, I know he'll love you. Maybe he'll just have to root for both teams at that point. I just hope everybody has fun, like that type of situation.
He might have my jersey on, but like a Ravens towel in his back pocket or something like that.
That would be pretty great. Jalen, man, we're so happy for you and everything that you've been able to accomplish, right? Like, it's awesome to see the success that you've already found, and we're going to be rooting for you no matter where it is, except obviously Pittsburgh, in which case we'll quietly be happy for you, but we will definitely not be rooting for you whatsoever. I'm sure you understand that's the case. I want to have everybody know where to give you a follow on Twitter or Instagram or anywhere like that. Where are your handles that folks around here can be following you?
On Instagram, I'm _J Green with a 10 at the end. And then for Twitter, I got Little LILJAY with 3 Ys _1.
So you can give him a follow on Twitter. Jalen, so rooting for you and hoping for the best for you as this plays out, and can't wait to see you on the field this fall, no matter where it is. Thank you for spending the time with us this morning. We really appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate you guys having me on.
It's Jalen Green, James Madison, and 15.5 sacks, and he didn't even get to finish the season last year. So wildly productive a year ago. Couple of Baltimore natives, couple of edge rushers we talked to today. Of course, the Ravens have another Baltimore native that's an edge rusher that's in the pipeline, and Malik Ham. Look, man, I've said this a million times. I root for everybody local. That's the way that it works. I'm not suggesting that being local is the singular reason why someone should be drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. Not at all. But it would be neat. It would be really neat if it did happen to work out that way with one of those two guys. Appreciate Jalen Green taking the time for us. Speaking of neat, it's a neat day to be at the Green Turtle, Griffin. What's going on over there?
Free $10 bets today and every Thursday at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. You can use it on whatever you would like. Got an NIT championship tonight. Indiana State and Seton Hall. So maybe you want to wander over there and use it on that at the Green Turtle Sportsbooks, where you can experience the ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. So go check out the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. Pick up your free bet and make some money while enjoying some food and some sports tonight.
No doubt about it. It's kind of a lonely night, right? Like you mentioned there's the NIT
PFL regular season begins tonight.
That is what It is what matters most. That's
never know. Ray Lewis might show up. You never know.
Sure. Not going to fight, I don't think.
No, he's not going to fight.
So
They bring him on the broadcast every now and then.
Okay, there's that. Okay.
Yeah.
The 3-point and slam dunk championships at the college level are tonight. So, really, what I'm trying to say is there's no excuse for you to not to join me for Project Runway tonight at CFG Bank Arena. So, if you've not gotten your tickets yet, get your tickets. I mentioned Malik Ham. He'll be a part of it. Ronnie Stanley. Eric and Lacey DaCosta will be a part of it. We're having fun, and we're trying to help the animals in our community that need forever homes. And we need you to come out, and we need you to think about adding a new furry member of your family. So you don't have plans for tonight, or if your plans are lame, or if your plans were to sit at home and watch sports because you weren't aware that there just ain't much to watch, PawJectRunway.org. Pawject. P-A-W, Pawject Runway. You get it? Because, like, okay. PawJectRunway.org is the website for you to find out more. No, I did not. No, Project Runway has been going on well before I got involved. I only got involved 4 years or so ago, 4 or 5, whatever it was, 5 years ago. So I don't remember what it was, but it's been going on for a long time before me. And of course, you guys, it goes on in partnership with Show Your Soft Side and Barks, and you guys raised about $500 that we could donate for Show Your Soft Side via our bracket contest. We're down to 4 people that could win based on who wins the championship, right? Like, that's what we're down to.
Sounds right. I checked out after
I'm pretty sure I
Sweet
looked.
16 because I was eliminated.
And, like, there's nobody else had enough. No one, whoever the top person was that had UConn, no one behind them can jump them because they don't have enough left in the Final Four that would be able to jump them. So it's down to one person for each of the teams that's left that could win the pot. I don't remember. I think one of them is our friend Jen Babish. I think my cousin
in Alabama.
Duncan.
Wow, yeah.
There's 4 teams. All 4 Final Four teams have somebody to pick them, and they all are still alive going into this Final Four weekend. Hang on a second.
It's Duncan, Babish, Kelly Sanford.
Yes, Kelly Sanford. She was Purdue, right?
Yes, and then John Sears.
John Sears
has Alabama.
Towson's own John Sears. All right, so one of them is walking away with the pot for our bracket contest, depending on who wins. So I don't dislike. That's the other thing too. Like, if John Proctor was one of those, then I would have somebody to root against, which would be nice. None of those give me greater rooting interest in I like all of them. I'm totally fine with any of them being victorious, and so I've got nothing. That does not. Are they basic? So they said that Duncan, who's got NC State, has a 1.2% chance to win. Is that their way of saying they think that NC State has a 1.2% chance of winning the national championship?
Yeah,
is that how we translate that?
Yeah, I like how now it says show best path, and it's just their team to win it.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, they're the 4 teams that are alive, and they're for example, you're listed 5th.
Yeah, why am I listed 5th? I guess that means I'm just gonna come in 5th place if Purdue wins.
Presumably that means that you have.
Or I'll come.
If Purdue wins, you'll finish with the 2nd most points. So you'll have that going for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it says I got a 50% chance to finish top 3.
Yeah.
I'm in 20th right now.
Yeah, but what percent chance to finish top 1? 0. Much like
can't be calculated.
Much like your boy GC. 0% chance of winning the bracket. I was really heartbroken about the. I was like, I told you guys.
If it weren't for Kelly, I guess I'd be in pretty good. I'd be
in
really good shape.
Great. You'd be the one that would have the 50% chance. It is weird that Kelly's got a 50% chance to win, and the person.
So I guess they favor
Jen Babish, who has UConn, has a 35% chance to win. Because yes, that would suggest.
Unless Babish doesn't have Purdue in the final or something.
Right, but so are they saying that Kelly could still win even if UConn wins, if Purdue makes it?
Maybe if UConn wins the final, they lose in the championship or something.
I don't know, man.
Let's see.
It's past me. It's not worth all the time we're spending on it either. It's not worth it. Somebody's going to win.
Kelly has Purdue over UConn.
Okay.
And then Mrs. Babish.
How do you know it's Mrs.?
You said it was Jen Babish, right?
Right, but you said Mrs.
Oh, sorry, Ms.
I don't know. Did you just say Jen?
Has UConn over Purdue? Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it seems like that doesn't make sense that either one of them would have a 50% chance of winning.
Maybe because they think Purdue has a better chance of beating NC State? Just according to ESPN's
yeah, okay.
analytics?
And so these numbers will change if it is Purdue UConn at that point?
Yeah.
I guess that's possible. I don't know. That's weird, though. That's weird to me. I don't know what to make of it. Anyway, yeah, come out the Project Runway. That was the point of what I was trying, and then we got lost. We got very much lost on the way there. We were all over the map. Apparently, UConn wasn't able to fly out until like the middle of the night last night. They didn't arrive in Phoenix until 2:30 Phoenix time, so like 5:30 a.m. Eastern time last night. Does that mess with them? Does that? I mean, I doubt it. They've got 2 days to adjust. I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be able to make up for whatever sleep was lost. But it will be. I guarantee if like UConn starts sluggish, that's what Twitter will start talking about. If there's a sluggish start to the game for UConn, Twitter will be all over is this because of the flight situation? Don't know. Today's show also brought to you by, speaking of the Final Four, it's brought to you by Sports and Social. And we'll be at Sports and Social on Saturday for the the national semifinals. Join us Saturday evening at Sports and Social inside Live Casino and Hotel. That's where Griffin and I will be. We'll be hanging out, watching the games. Which game is first? Is it the UConn game or the Purdue game is first? I genuinely don't know that. But we're watching them both there. Hanging out with you. Great giveaways. We're going to be we'll have some grand prizes to give away, plus during commercials. Yes.
Purdue is first.
Purdue is
NC
first.
State.
Okay, Purdue, NC State is first. We're definitely rooting for NC State, right? Like we have to.
I have a futures bet.
No, don't care about that.
On Purdue. Well, you should. I mean,
no, sure doesn't.
That's because that's what I'm going to be rooting for.
No, we're rooting for NC State, and if you don't join me, you're a terrible person.
ACC.
So join us.
I still hate the ACC. I think
that's weird.
Well,
I hate Duke, but I'm out of it on everything.
Any school from Carolina should never win anything.
Stop. Be hanging out. Great food and drink specials. There's going to be an incredible atmosphere. Live DJ and cheerleaders. And if you've never watched big games inside Sports and Social, like, short of being there, there's nothing that compares to it. The atmosphere is crazy. Everybody's got something riding on every aspect of the game. People are living and dying with every shot. It's just the coolest place to be. So come hang out with us. This Saturday, we will be at Sports and Social for the national semifinals. Hope you can hang at Sports and Social. It is time for us to make our first trip of the season to Bowie to chat with a member of the Baysox. We've been doing this for years, and we'll continue it this season. Our guest this morning, someone that we have been excited about for a long time. He's getting ready for the start of the season. It gets underway this weekend. He is Orioles prospect Jud Fabian, and he's with us now here on GCR. Jud, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me on.
Dude, it's good to talk to you again. As you arrived at the AA level, right, like you got there, I know there's a lot made about that being when it kind of starts to get real for everybody. And I'm not trying to suggest that it wasn't real for you before that, but when you got there last year, did you start to feel that, like, dude, it's happening. I'm really doing this.
Yeah, AA is definitely a different level than high A or low A. And when I got here, it was like, wow, this is like I'm pretty close to where I want to be. I didn't realize how close I was until I got to Bowie and got to play the competition that we play. And yeah, it's fun playing that competition, but it's crazy to think how close you are to making it up to where you want to be.
Yeah, accomplishing the thing that you always dreamed of accomplishing. You got to be a part of the spring breakout this year, which was such a cool concept that baseball introduced. I think everybody's involved with it. But, like, when you're and I'm sure that you felt this a few times coming up through this system because of the insane amount of talent that there is. But when you, like, get there and you look at that lineup, do you start to think to yourself, yo, we could probably go win 80 games against major league teams at this point?
Yeah, no, definitely. When I walked in the clubhouse, knowing most of the guys that were on the team, it was like, wow, I'm surrounded by a bunch of players that are going to play in the big leagues, going to have long careers in the big leagues. And just the squad we had, we were like, you know what, this team is pretty dang good. And, you know, we could probably go win any game we played. So it was cool. Obviously getting to play with those guys, just getting to see how they work, how they prepare for a game, stuff like that. It's just really awesome, and it was good to be a part of that.
You know, I mentioned that I feel like within this organization there's been a lot made about like the insane amount of competition. You guys are friends, right? But at the same time, you're kind of competing against each other in a way. What has that been like for you within this organization? Just knowing like, hey, the path isn't exactly perfectly clear for you. Like, you can do everything that you can do, but there might still be like 8 dudes that are also doing really good things too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just gonna control what I can control and play how I play. You know, I'm not gonna go after my teammates just because we're competing together. But
I want to make it clear, I'm not suggesting that you're going to set up like a fight club or that you're going to try to like Tanya Harding this and take out one of your buddy's knees. I'm not suggesting that in any way.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fun. You know, I have lifelong friends now that I met through the Orioles system, and it's awesome to hang out with those guys on a day-to-day basis. And you know, I don't really think much about the competition of who's going to go up first or all that. I go out and play and have fun with those guys.
Jud Fabian is with us as the Bowie Baysox get ready to start the season. We'll tell you in a minute about what's coming up at Prince George's County Stadium. Jud, if I look just at your numbers from a year ago, my takeaway would be I bet you're pretty happy with the power, and I remember talking to you about that coming out of college. Like, that's such an important part of your game. Maybe the strikeouts, not so much. And was the average just about the adjustment to the level of pitching that you were facing? And do you feel like with the time that you put in, that will be something that you'll be better suited to pick up this season, having more adjustment to the AA level?
Yeah, definitely. Strikeouts were something that I kind of worked on throughout this whole offseason. You know, worked a bunch on my swing. Obviously, the power numbers were there, and power numbers were where I wanted them to be.
Yeah.
Like you said, the strikeout numbers were down, so that's one focus I worked really hard on this offseason. So we should see how it plays out this season.
What is the line for that for you as a power hitter, right? Because like, there's plenty of guys that you'll talk to, like O'Hearn was joking about it, like the mentality of, dude, I'm gonna swing, and I'm gonna swing really hard just in case I make contact. That's the way it's gonna go because that's my game. Where is the line for you between trying to progress as a power hitter versus not wanting to be, you know, an all or nothing type of guy?
Yeah, you know, you're always gonna swing and miss. This game's a game of failure, so just kind of limiting how many times I do swing and miss, not striking out so many times, but also just, you know I'm going to fail, so I'm just going to keep going up there and swinging at strikes and trying to drive the ball with power.
I mean, look, dude, the home runs will always play, right? Like, you keep hitting like that, my God, you're going to be doing this for a long time, and you're going to make an awful lot of money playing baseball if you can continue to put the ball out of the ballpark. What are the other goals for you as you come into this season? Like, besides, you know, cutting down on the strikeouts, what are the other internal goals that you have as you do inch closer to living out this major league dream?
Obviously, the number one goal is to stay healthy this whole year, prepare my body to play 120 games, 130 games, however many we play. And, you know, just staying healthy because of injury sets you back a little bit. So, obviously, focusing on my body and how I'm feeling and how it is going to be staying healthy is my main goal for this year. And then just playing. Last year, I kind of was stressing a little bit, but this year, no, it's just about going out, playing, and having fun.
Take me through was it stressing because of the results, or was it like stressing because you're trying to speed up the process, accelerate? Where did that come from, and how did you deal with that?
Honestly, it's just, a strikeout is a very unproductive out.
Yeah.
And I think I was letting that get to my head a little bit. And, I'm just trying to, you walk up to the plate, you walk back on a strikeout. There's nothing really you could do to help the team win. So I think that was kind of getting in my head a little bit.
Sure.
So just focusing on moving on to the next pitch of the AB, next AB of the game, all that type of stuff.
So much has been made in recent years about like the mental performance side of the game and how you handle that. Has that been something that, you've changed your approach with, or you've been willing to talk to people about, or anything like that? Like, did going through any of that change mentally the way that you go about approaching baseball?
Yeah, obviously the mental side of the game is probably the biggest part of baseball. You deal with a bunch of ups, you deal with a bunch of downs, mostly downs. And, you just got to stay even keel. Throughout games, you're going to get out. Some games you could go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts or something like that, but you can't let that affect your next game. And I think I did a really good job this spring of talking with our mental skills coach, Diamond. He's really helped me kind of focus on that side of the game, and it really helped me towards the end of spring training. That's
really awesome, man. And I appreciate you being willing to talk about that, because I know that I think it's important for people to hear that. Like, it's okay. It's something we all should be doing. It's talking to somebody about it. Is there something that you do? Is we know a lot of guys that have come through the system have been super into like golf, or putting together like Lego Star Wars figures, things like that. Is there something that you do as a habit that helps you with focus away from baseball?
Honestly, no. In the off seasons, I do a bunch of hunting.
Okay.
Being out in the woods, it kind of takes your mind and just allows you to just kind of be out in nature and not think about anything else. So I enjoy doing that. It's kind of like therapy for me. Just sitting in the woods, sitting in a tree, listening to nature.
Are you the type that will go out for like a week and like sleep out there, or are you like is that like too far?
No, I don't do that.
Okay.
I go every evenings I can in the off season.
That's cool. Can you clean and cook and the whole thing? Like, I mean, if you, I don't know what you're hunting for, but like, are you the type of person that can go gut it yourself and then you can make dinner that night?
I am not that person yet.
Okay.
I want to learn how to, but my hands are pretty valuable right now.
That's fair.
So I stay away from stuff like that.
You don't want to mess with that. That is the money maker. That is a very fair point. There will be a day for that at some point. Maybe not today.
Yep.
All right, the season gets underway for the Bowie Baysox this weekend, as they will be at home. Lots of great events on Friday night for opening night, fireworks night. Also going to have fireworks on Saturday night as well. Bark in the Park on Sunday, so you can bring your dog with you to the game. And they're doing a pregame egg hunt for kids on Sunday as well, plus a dog toy giveaway on Sunday. Lots to find out about with the Bowie Baysox this weekend. Baysox.com in order to find out more. Jud, what about with you? I know that you're not really like you don't have like a big Instagram or Twitter presence, anything like that. But did I see that you're involved with like a bat company or something like that?
Yeah, that was my college NIL deal.
Oh yeah,
came with that, just a trainer bat.
Okay.
That I tend to use. Just kind of helps the swing path and allows me to get on path with the ball and stay in the zone for a long time. So I use those in all my practice reps.
That's cool, man. I am just getting into baseball. My son, so I don't know if you've caught up with this being in Maryland, but like lacrosse is a big deal here. And so my two sons, they're 9 and 6. They had played lacrosse the last couple of years. They came to me in January and said, we kind of like to give baseball a try. And I was like, all right, all in. So I've been hitting them ground balls every day, and we've been doing that type of stuff. You got any advice for a new baseball dad about how to get these kids maybe caught up a little bit and fall in love with the game?
Just to tell them to have fun. You know, this is a game where you're going to fail more times than you're going to succeed. So as long as they're having fun with it, they're going to keep getting better and better because they're going to enjoy how they're going after the game and how they're going after ground balls or their swings. As long as they're having fun, they're going to keep progressing, and they'll get a lot better as long as they're enjoying it.
Love that, man. Hey, Jud, it's great to catch up with you. Really appreciate taking the time. Can't wait to see how things go for you this season. No doubt we'll be in touch. Thanks for doing this morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's Jud Fabian, the Bowie Baysox, as they get ready for their season to get underway this weekend. I know that for years, obviously, like we were more focused on what was happening in the minor leagues than we were what was happening in the bigs. That's no longer the case. But, like, hey, there's still talent in the pipeline. As you guys know, because you're screaming about the Norfolk box scores every night. There's still talent even behind that. Sama Basayo is going to be at Bowie, correct?
Yeah.
I saw they announced their roster this week. I thought that
that sounds right.
Hang on a second.
Because why wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's where he would be. Yeah, they've got Samuel Basayo and
They got a good roster.
Silas Ardoin behind the plate. Infielders, Anthony Servideo, T.T. Bowens, Max Wagner, another big bat there. Mentioned Jud Fabian.
Seth
Dylan
Johnson's there. Trace Bright is there.
Yeah, the pitchers. Dylan Beavers also in the outfield as well with Jud Fabian. So still lots and lots of talent, which is just so wonderful. Just so nice.
Oh, Alex Pham. There's it all.
Sure, also on that list. Baysox.com in order to find out a little bit more and get out there to support the Baysox. The Orioles are away this weekend, so maybe a good weekend to go check out Bowie. Today's show also brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is still available for only, we're getting into the days territory at this point with the print issue of Press Box. It's going to be gone before too long. You can go pick it up at your neighborhood Royal Farms. They have the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. On the cover, we dove into the 2024 Baltimore Orioles, so go check that out. And speak now or forever hold your peace, because we got a new print issue that's going to be hitting in about a week and a half. So you want to make sure you get this one before it's gone. When we come back in, fighting words. I think Griffin's going to preview Wrestlemania. He's going to break down every match of the weekend and tell
I'll let
you.
You take the lead, but yeah, I'll give picks, sure.
Oh, yeah? You're going to make your picks? We did that on Jobbing Out this week, so I don't think we need to break down every match. I don't think anybody's all that concerned. Oh, yeah? They're really dying to know who's going to win Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. And if you want to know, we're going to tell you next on GCR.
Hey, it's Jeremy Kahn. This postseason, bet in person at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks with locations in Canton and in Towson, and enjoy the best in-class sports wagering experience at their state-of-the-art facilities, bringing an unmatched sports betting thrill.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Discover one of Baltimore's hidden gems at Guilford Hall Brewery. Enjoy dinner in our spacious brew pub, sip a signature cocktail in our outdoor dog-friendly beer garden, or take a tour of our brewery. Discover your new favorite local craft beer. From crisp lagers to hoppy ales, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Pair your brew with delicious appetizers and entrees. There are options for the whole family, but you have to try our fan-favorite giant pretzel. Guilford Hall Brewery, where every sip is a celebration. Visit us online at guilfordhall.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4, available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Oh, honey, we better stop for gas soon. Let's pull into that Royal Farms.
Ugh, gas is so expensive.
Nope, it'll be cheaper than you think.
Why's that?
I signed up for ROFO Pay on the Royal Farms app. Now we save 15 cents per gallon at all Royal Farms.
Wow, that'll save us a ton of money. I love you more every day.
Well, then don't get a speeding ticket this trip, okay?
Sign up for ROFO Rewards and upgrade to ROFO Pay and save 15 cents a gallon on gas for a limited time. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Craving that classic New York deli experience? Look no further than the new Atman's Deli in Baltimore's Harbor Point. Corned beef piled high, hand-rolled bagels, and something different. A bar! Atman's has food and drink specials every day. Now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in, grab takeout, or hang out at the bar for the next O's game. Atman's Deli, an authentic taste of Baltimore tradition since 1915. Find us at Harbor Point or visit atmansdeli.com.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis. AJMichaels.com.
Hungry? With 7 locations throughout Maryland, Glory Days Grill is always right around the corner. They have wings, burgers, salads, sandwiches, and drinks to satisfy everyone, as well as tons of televisions and sound delivered right to your phone. Glory Days is the best place to watch football or whatever your favorite sport is. While you're there, be sure to check out Goose Flights Lager, named in honor of legendary Raven Tony Goose Siragusa. $2 of every can is donated to the Goose Flights Foundation. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here as we continue along on a Thursday edition of GCR. Let's go ahead and do this, shall we?
It's Fighting Words with Griffin Bass.
I don't think we got to do Fighting Words last week because we were trying to get out of here to get to opening day. So it's been a couple of weeks. Of course, there's not really been a whole lot to cover in that time period. No. Fighting Words brought to you by Ruth's Chris.
Glad you saved the best for Fighting Words this week.
Whether you're celebrating a special milestone, entertaining clients, or simply enjoying a night out, count on Ruth's Chris to deliver to you the finest steaks, the best service, and a level of hospitality that has made them one of the most revered names in steaks since 1965. Make your reservation now at ruthschris.com. So anything not – I know that you care about all of it. We're not wasting time talking about anything that actually has mattered.
Over the last – no, not really.
Okay,
really don't.
Very good.
And this was kind of, I think,
a guy bit a guy. That was a thing.
Yeah, yes, the guy bit a guy.
A guy bit a guy. We talked about it this week. That was a thing that occurred. Went ahead and got himself fired.
Yeah, but it's been a little bit of a lull.
And was he like an actual like on the rise fighter?
I think was he undefeated? No, I can't remember if he was undefeated. But he was like winning the fight too.
Went ahead
he was
and
winning
decided,
the fight. Yeah, and
I don't want to do this anymore.
It was oh my gosh, that was very, very strange.
Bizarre.
I'm trying to remember that guy's name. Where was he? Igor Severino. Yeah, he was undefeated. He was 8-0 going into that fight. I'm not sure what got into him. So that was very strange. That was a couple weeks ago. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a lull for all the fight nights just because they're trying to overcompensate for UFC 300 next weekend. This weekend, not a whole lot on the UFC card. Dylan Budka, though, is making his UFC debut. The Dundalk native.
I do like that.
Dylan Budka. He is a favorite. He was earlier in the week. Yeah, he's minus 150 right now. I kind of like. It's interesting. So the guy he's fighting is 36 years old. He's only 4-0 in his professional MMA career, but it's because he had a long kickboxing career before getting into MMA. But he fought Alex Pereira. He has a win over Alex Pereira. In his kickboxing.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
That's
which is very interesting.
That's kind of wild.
Which is also why I'm a little surprised that Dylan is favored in this fight. I think it's got to be because of the age in this, because Dylan's 24 and this guy is 36.
Huh.
Or he's about he's 36. He has a win over Alex Pereira, which was back in 2013 or 2015, I think, in kickboxing. And then he has 2 losses as well to Alex Pereira. They fought 3 times, which is crazy. But he never got knocked out by Alex Bajeda, which is I guess a lot of credit to him. But he's 4-0. I like Dylan in this fight just because he's got a wrestling background, and this guy doesn't. He's got a kickboxing background, and I think that Dylan should be able to take him down.
Okay.
And he showed in his Contender Series fight like a little bit of good ground game. The Cesar Almeida is the name of the guy he's fighting.
Okay.
A little bit of like defense, ground game defense. So he might be able to get up, I think. But as long as Dylan keeps
the fight on the ground,
keeps it on the ground, keeps taking him, returning to the mat over and over. I think he should be able to grind this one out.
Okay.
And I like his chances here. And
what are the odds exactly?
-150.
-150
on Dylan Budka. PFL regular season gets started tonight. I'm more interested in the women's fights because it is the women's flyweights and then the heavyweights. The heavyweights there's no good heavyweights on the PFL roster this season. It does not. But Liz Carmouche is fighting. I like her going against Juliana Vasquez. I like her a lot actually. -185 against Juliana Vasquez tonight. Tyler Santos, who is a really good UFC fighter and just kind of decided to leave the UFC. She's now in the PFL. She's a massive favorite. You can't make any money on her. But then also from Japan, Kana Watanabe.
Sure.
I like her as well. So if you parlay Kana and Liz Carmouche, so even though you're saying Liz Carmouche is 40 years old, she's fighting a girl that she's already finished twice. I'm not sure why they're doing this a third time. I would assume that's why the line is still kind of short, just because she's 40 years old. But they fought 2 years ago, and she beat her twice 2 years ago. So I like Liz Carmouche. You parlay them together, you get +100, I believe, on the odds. Liz Carmouche -180, and then Kana Watanabe, the Japanese. She's fighting Shauna Young, another former UFC fighter. The Shanimal is what they called her. She's unfortunate. She's very much on the downturn as well. So I think you can make some money tonight on the PFL +100 on that parlay, and I guess we'll transition into previewing what the Wrestlemania now this week.
Well, there's nothing in the world of boxing that's the.
I mean,
really. you cannot. This. I don't care.
It might fall through.
Well, but why might it fall through? That part I don't understand. Like, it's not real to begin with. Why would any of these things make it not happen?
I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to continue to drum up.
They just want attention. Like. I'm just not going to – I'm sorry. I'm not going to give it to him. This is not a thing.
Well, I wasn't going to talk about it.
I'm not. I'm with you. But none of it – like, if something interesting were to pop up, I would talk about it. There's nothing interesting about that. This is pay attention to us. And people complaining about the size of the – like, yo, this is not on them. This is on you. You are the mark. You're the doofus. You. Not them. They told you from the get-go. They announced this thing and said, this is fake. Throw a ton of money at us. And you said, yes, I'll do that. Not even really, because it's not a pay-per-view fight. But you all bought it up and ate it up and said, I'll be watching and I'm interested and I'll talk about it. And you're in on it. You are a co-conspirator. You cannot be mad at them. They're telling you they're doing a fake thing. They couldn't tell it to you any louder. You've just decided that you're good with it. You got nobody to be mad at. Size of the gloves. You kidding me? Anyway, is there anything else in boxing that's happening?
Not really. I
couldn't even come up with when the next interesting fight was. I was trying to pull that
I'm sure
up.
Canelo's trying. I'm sure.
I say interesting is wrong. If you really care about boxing, you'll probably tell me about why all these fights matter. And so I guess maybe I should feel a little bit bad about that. Yes, Canelo is fighting Canelo. Like I made Carmelo and Canelo the same person. Canelo is fighting Cinco de Mayo weekend because there's always a
Canelo fight.
Yes, on Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Wrestlemania. So what to watch for? So it's 2 nights, right? Because I still don't know exactly how.
You're gonna do the breakdown?
I mean, no. Well, I was trying to pass it off, I guess.
So
Cody,
I thought this was you did fighting
Cody
words.
And Seth freaking Rollins are taking on
The Rock and
Roman Reigns.
I'll be there on Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going on Sunday.
But so this is the night before.
Apparently, this was not made it clear to me. We're sitting in the upper deck.
You're gonna be there.
I have so no interest in doing this.
I'll take your ticket.
I just said, you want to go up, my buddy? I would be happy to send you up there. I love him, and he wants to go, and I'm sure I'll feel something when I get, because I've been to a few WrestleManias before. But I've never sat in the upper deck for a WrestleMania. That part of it, that's going to be a little bit different. The first Saturday night, they're doing Cody and Seth versus The Rock and Roman Reigns, with the setup being that The Rock and Roman Reigns, if they win, they get to set the rules for Roman Reigns' match against Cody on Sunday night. If Cody and Seth win, then the rest of the group, the Bloodline, is banned from ringside on Sunday night. So in pro wrestling ways, like it's supposed to be a setup. Cody and Seth win, and that's how Cody is able to overcome, because nobody's been able to beat Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns has 20 dudes that are willing to come out and help him cheat in order to win, right? Like that's what it's supposed to set up for. But that's boring, so you almost have to have The Rock and Roman Reigns win on Saturday night to increase the extraordinary odds that Cody Rhodes has to overcome in order to win on Sunday night if you're into professional wrestling. For some of you, as I describe this, you're saying, what?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
What? No, it's just the fact that
it's
I'm
also
laying.
They're trying to
like,
block
are you really
Cody Rhodes from.
Are you really spending? What's that?
Because he won. Why do I forget the name of
the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, the Royal Rumble.
He's won it twice now. He won it last year and didn't win the belt. I don't know. It'll be.
Any special appearances you think we should see?
A lot of heat on Jason Kelsey perhaps being involved with WrestleMania would make a lot of sense, right? Like, it's in Philly. He just retired. He's kind of got that type of personality. It would make all of the sense in the world for Jason Kelsey to be involved with WrestleMania in some capacity. But
think Bad Bunny will show up?
I think if they had Bad Bunny, they would have announced that.
Okay.
I don't think that's something that they would do as a surprise.
Logan Paul's fighting, right?
Logan Paul is fighting Kevin Owens and Randy Orton in a triple threat match for, what is that, the Intercontinental title? Yeah. So I'll be there day 2.
So you'll see the Logan Paul one then.
I'll see Logan Paul. I'll see Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for that championship. I'll see the Roman Reigns, Cody. Well, Drew's actually a heavy favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
So are there odds now for these, or
like there are odds for these? There've been odds for a long time. Drew's a heavy betting favorite to defeat Seth Rollins for the belt. I'm not really sure I get why he's such a big favorite. We talked about that on Jobbing Out this week, but he is, and so that's what it is. I'm hoping for the cash in, because Damian Priest still holds the Money in the Bank briefcase, and everybody's kind of forgotten about that. So I'm actually kind of hoping that Seth Rollins wins, and then Damian Priest immediately cashes in on him, and Damian Priest leaves WrestleMania as the champion. That would be good news, if you ask me. But
I'd rather see Cody or.
Well, Cody's the other belt.
Okay.
There's two. There's a Raw championship and a SmackDown championship.
Oh, okay.
And Cody's going for the SmackDown championship. Seth and Drew are fighting for the Raw. That's not what the belts are actually called. They have other names.
Are they going to have this on at the casino, you think?
On Saturday?
Yeah.
I don't know if they show the the WWE pay-per-views. I wouldn't even want to. Honestly, I would prefer not to watch it that way.
Because you would.
I just like to know like what's happening. I'm gonna run out of time though, because I've got to do the radio show on Sunday, and then I'm supposed to be at the Helping Up mission Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Then I got the radio show, and then I'm driving to
just
Philly.
Listen to Saturday night on the way up.
More or less. Like I've actually, I haven't told him this yet, but I'm going to ask Brandon. I was like, you can drive my car, baby. You can drive my car. Yes, I'm going to be a star. Because I offered to drive because he took care of the tickets. It's like, all right, I'll drive. But now I got to do the bit where I sheepishly, I'm like, well, what if you drive? And then I can watch WrestleMania Night 1 so that I know what I'm doing going into WrestleMania Night 2. We'll see how that plays. I don't know how that's going to go. He's talking about driving up himself for day 1 and then driving back.
Oh, to get you.
I mean, just because he didn't like rent.
Or to get a hotel.
Like his plan is, because they do the NXT pay-per-view on Saturday afternoon. So his plan is go up, get a cheap ticket for that, and then if ticket prices crash for WrestleMania, he'll buy a ticket for night 1. If they don't, then he'll drive back, and then we'll go up for night 2.
That's a pretty good plan.
I don't know.
You sound jealous, too.
No, I've done this. Like, everybody knows that I've done the full weekend before. I did it in New York. I did it in Orlando. I did it in New Orleans. Those are the 3 WrestleManias that I went to. Now,
When do they come in?
To Baltimore? Maybe after they redo the stadium, they could throw their hat in the ring.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be They're working
draft,
on the
game,
NFL draft.
Wrestlemania.
Yeah, the draft and the
Man.
All-Star game I think are going to happen. I don't know if the Wrestlemania.
That'll be the next question.
Happen.
Next time we talk to Terry Hassel.
Yeah. How you working on Wrestlemania? I can see Baltimore trying to get in the mix for like like summer. Well, it's tough to do SummerSlam.
Well, we need Dylan Budka to become a star.
Right, and then
put some pressure on Dana.
The SummerSlam's going to Cleveland this summer. Like, if you can get SummerSlam in Cleveland, I feel like you should be able to get SummerSlam in Baltimore. Like, I feel like that should be possible.
Final Four in Cleveland, yeah.
The women's Final Four, yes, in Cleveland. They couldn't play it in the football stadium. There's no roof, so that wouldn't. The men's Final Four.
Play outdoor basketball games.
They have. They're not going to play the Final Four outdoors. They're not going to do that. All right. Anything else that we need to cover?
Not really. There are two more fights. If you give me a parlay, Alex Morono is fighting Court McGee in the UFC on Saturday night. He's minus 295, and then Walter Walker. This is Johnny Walker's brother. He's a heavyweight.
I enjoy his black.
Johnny Walker. Black. Walter Walker's minus 290. If you put them together, minus 125. So I like Alex Morono and Walter Walker, the brother of Johnny Walker. They're fighting Saturday night. So that's one more parlay for you. For the UFC.
Very good.
On
Go
Saturday.
try to win some money.
Budka, and then
if you're going to be watching the hoops with us at Sports and Social, you can race over and put that parlay in too. What time do the fights start on Saturday?
So Dylan Budka is the second fight of the whole card. So the prelims start at 3. So probably about 3:30.
Okay, so well before.
Yeah, well before.
Very good.
Yes.
All right, that's Fighting Words. Appreciate that. If you have not tried Goose Flights yet, what are you waiting for? Goose Flights is delicious, and it goes to a great cause because $1.98 from every can sold goes to benefit the Goose Flights Foundation and the work that they're doing to provide non-emergency medical transport for those in need, in honoring and continuing the legacy of the great Tony Siragusa. PressBoxOnline.com/GooseFlights. Find out where in town you can pick up Goose Flights today. We'll come back in, get a tidbit and Tubi to wrap it up. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Craving that classic New York deli experience? Look no further than the new Atman's Deli in Baltimore's Harbor Point. Corned beef piled high, hand-rolled bagels, and something different. A bar! Atman's has food and drink specials every day. Now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in, grab takeout, or hang out at the bar for the next O's game. Atman's Deli, an authentic taste of Baltimore tradition since 1915. Find us at Harbor Point or visit atmansdeli.com.
What company makes your home more energy efficient, purifies your air, kills all viruses, and qualifies you for $6,000 in rebates? A.J. Michaels Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis at ajmichaels.com.
Whether you're celebrating a special milestone, entertaining clients, or simply enjoying a night out, count on Ruth's Chris to deliver you the finest steaks, the best service, and a level of hospitality that has made Ruth's Chris one of the most revered names in steaks since 1965. Make your reservation now at ruthschris.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Discover one of Baltimore's hidden gems at Guilford Hall Brewery. Enjoy dinner in our spacious brew pub, sip a signature cocktail in our outdoor dog-friendly beer garden, or take a tour of our brewery. Discover your new favorite local craft beer. From crisp lagers to hoppy ales, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Pair your brew with delicious appetizers and entrees. There are options for the whole family, but you have to try our fan favorite giant pretzel. Guilford Hall Brewery, where every sip is a celebration. Visit us online at guilfordhall.com.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now, and on the cover we look at the promise of spring for the Baltimore Orioles as Todd Karpovich and others shine the light on the team's hopes to take the next step towards championship contention and what reinforcements could still be coming. Plus, PressBox personalities offer suggestions to David Rubenstein about stewarding the franchise. Also inside, Bo Smolka on how the Ravens defense could evolve with new coordinators Zach Orr. And we meet lacrosse players from the men's and women's programs across the state. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the O's, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue and wind down for a Thursday edition of the program. Don't forget countysports.zone for all of the latest in Maryland high school sports coverage. Here this spring, they got you covered for girls and boys lacrosse, baseball, softball. Find out all of it by going to countysports.zone. Rankings, scores, schedules, updates, play pick'em. It's all there. Countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the Green Turtle. Griffin, remind everybody what's happening at the Green Turtle today.
Free $10 bets every Thursday at the Green Turtle Sportsbooks in Towson or Canton. You can use it on whatever you would like. What's going on tonight? A couple baseball games, NIT, obviously, PFL tonight. So maybe you can go ahead and wander over there, use it on some PFL action at the Green Turtle, and experience the ultimate destination for game day excitement. Great food and live in-person betting. So check out the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. Go pick up your free bet and make some money while enjoying some food and some sports tonight at the Turtle and every Thursday at the Turtle.
All right, very good. What you got for tidbits?
Let's start with so Kyle Higashioka yesterday in the fourth inning of the he is now. Do you know what team he's on, by the way?
I don't. He's a where is Kyle Higashioka these days? He's a Giant.
Close.
Oakland?
No.
I was like, that doesn't make sense. L.A.
A little further away. Not L.A.
San Diego.
San Diego. He is a San Diego Padre. In the fourth inning yesterday, he threw out two base stealers and hit a home run in the same inning.
Oh, how about that?
Last time that happened was 2000. It has actually only happened 6 times. It's the sixth time it's ever happened that a catcher has thrown out two base stealers and in the expansion era. So since 1960. Any idea the last time it happened? 2000. June 13th, 2000.
Mike Piazza.
No.
Pudge Rodriguez.
Not Pudge.
Chris Hoyles.
Not Chris Hoyles.
Jorge Posada.
Not Jorge Posada.
Tim Wakefield.
No.
No, he was a pitcher. Who am I thinking of? Jason Varitek.
No,
Sorry.
not Jason Varitek.
Jesus, the late
I feel
Tim
like we're
Wakefield.
getting close, though. Like, he'll stumble into it.
The Brian McCann.
No. So it's a little further back. 2000 is. June.
Javi Lopez.
No.
All right, maybe a team?
He was on the Angels at the time.
He was on the Angels at the time. Yuck.
All right. And
hang on.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
He's got a brother who also a catcher, just recently
Oh,
retired.
so it was Benji Molina?
Benji Molina of the Angels was the last time that this happened. Only the sixth time it's ever happened that a catcher threw out two base stealers and a home run in the same inning. Jackson Churio hit his first career home run yesterday at 20 years old and 23 days old. He is the youngest player to hit a home run this early in the season. And I believe he's only at 20 years old, he's only in the divisional era, so since 1969. This is from Sarah Langs again. He is the fifth player to hit a home run at 20 years old in the month of April.
Okay, you're asking me to name the others?
Yeah.
No chance.
Oh, come on. Years.
Didn't Jackson Merrill do it the other day?
No, Jackson. He's 20. He's 21.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was 20.
I think he's 21.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Bet your life on it.
Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry. Okay, so I'm looking at younger at 20 and 23 days old or younger.
Ah.
I'm not betting my life on it. I was wrong.
You were wrong. Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones is one of the correct answers in 1997.
Ken Griffey.
Ken Griffey in 1989.
You didn't bet your life on it, by the way. That would have been really awful.
Well, that's why I didn't bet my life on it.
Yeah, it would have been really a tough way to go.
How old is Jackson now? Is he like 20 and a half?
I think pretty sure he's 20. Those are the two that you always, when you think of young players, that's the two that you always think of.
He'll be 21 in about 2 weeks.
Right. That means he's how old?
It means he's 20.
Thank you.
But I'm saying,
no.
But the point with Churio is he's 20 years and 23
I know,
days
but,
old.
Right, but you set this premise up by saying
20 years old, and I
read
and misspoke.
Right, but then you said that he wasn't 20.
Okay, well, I mean, I was like off by 2 weeks.
No.
All I said was I think he's 21.
Griffin, I'll help you out
All I
here.
said was I think he's 21.
I'll help you out here.
You're making this blowing this way out.
No. You can't just do this.
What do you mean? I'm not doing anything.
I was wrong.
I literally said that.
But you're still trying to fight me about it.
No, because
you're still trying to. You're still trying to do.
I did
well, I was 2 weeks.
I did the thing that you want me to do
off.
and admit I was wrong.
And then
you keep going at it.
No, but you still bring it up. I was 2 weeks off.
You
were wrong. How about Robin Yount?
Robin Yount is correct. Okay. He did it twice because in 1974 he was 19, and in 1975 he was 20. One more in 1999.
99. A-Rod?
Not A-Rod.
99.
Are they teammates at this point? No.
A-Rod and him?
Yeah, I don't think they were teammates.
So it's a Mariner is what you're saying?
No, okay. When did he go? Okay, sorry. Then.
Yeah, he started in Seattle.
He started in Seattle.
So then it was a Ranger?
Yeah, it was a Ranger.
1999. Beltre?
Yes, Adrian Beltre. When did he go to the Rangers? Was that 03?
I don't remember what year Alex Rodriguez went to the Rangers. Alex Rodriguez left for Texas in 2001. He was in Seattle 94 wow, 94? God, I didn't realize it was that. I was way off on 99. Went to Texas in 2001 after spending 94 to 2000 in Seattle. So, what was the deal? He signed a 10-year, $252 million contract, which Wikipedia tells me it would be equivalent to $446 million in 2023. It was a huge, huge deal when Alex Rodriguez signed that deal in Texas.
You want one more? Or
no, I think we're good.
Okay.
Well, would it save?
I mean, yeah, it'll save.
Okay,
I'm already like a week late on it. But
I got to get to Project Runway tonight. I got a lot of things I got to do between now and then, so let's go ahead and wrap up.
All right.
Tubular is brought to you today by Atman's Deli. Love Atman's. Everything that you love about the original Atman's Deli. That's all still there. Nothing's missing. And the actual original Atman's Deli is also still there. It's just that this one has all of that, the bagels, the corned beef, the delicious deli sandwiches, the desserts, the soups, all of it, plus a bar to hang out and watch games. AtmansDeli.com is the website. Find their daily specials there. Go check out the new Atman's in Harbor Point. Here's what's coming up tonight, and as we've pointed out a couple of times, it ain't much. NIT Championship on ESPN, Seton Hall against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Steph Blurry, and Indiana State, 7 o'clock for that, followed by the college slam dunk and three-point championships. The kid that everybody fell in love with from Oakland is in the three-point contest. So what was that? Jack Golke, yes. Bowie, I believe, is in it as well.
Oh.
So some names that you're familiar with. A lot of times they do this, and it's like whoever they could get. But some names that are involved in those competitions.
Jack Golke.
Jack Golke.
Asking it.
I've already forgotten his name, with all due respect.
Well, that's why he's in this three-point contest. Don't forget.
Capitals host the Penguins tonight at 7 on Monumental, ESPN Plus and Hulu for Blues Predators at 8. Pirates Nationals at 4 on Masson, MLB Network Guardians Twins at 4, White Sox Royals at 7:30. TNT and True TV for Kings Knicks at 7:30, Nuggets Clippers at 10. USA Network Chelsea Man U at 3:15. Andrew Steck is very angry with me. It is apparently pronounced Luton Town, not Luton Town. Thanks a lot for letting me get that one wrong. Thanks a lot. I thought you were our Luton Town specialist. I thought Luton Town.
Okay.
Luton Town.
Well, so what's his face? The quarterback, Jordan Luton, is that his name? Or
who?
There was a quarterback that he was a backup quarterback. He wasn't any good.
I don't remember this person at all.
Well, his brother played on the Towson baseball team.
Oh, if you say so.
And it was Luton. I remember it was like Jordan Luton or something.
I'll choose. Is it Luton?
Yes.
How about that? Luton, apparently, not Luton. I don't know that I'll remember that the next time I have to say they're playing a game, but who knows? 6 and it sticks, something like that. Luton Town.
Jake Luton is the quarterback, and then his brother Jordan played.
But
for Towson.
it's Lutton, not
well,
Luton.
I'm saying that their names were pronounced Luton. That's why.
But how are they spelled?
Same way.
But you just said Jake Lutton.
What did I?
You did. You just said Jake Lutton.
Maybe I don't know.
All right. We've accomplished nothing.
So what? I already forget. What's the correct way?
Luton Town. Luton Town. Luton. Luton Town.
It's probably gonna be Luton Town next time I say it.
It's definitely gonna be Luton Town every time I say it. I'll never watch them play. Golf Channel round 1 of the PGA Texas Open at 4. Access TV for Impact Wrestling at 8. Anything non-sports?
There was. I clicked out of it.
Yeah. Well, we're
This is
killing
why.
it.
Yeah.
Killing it.
What's today?
Yes.
Thursday?
Yep.
Your favorite, Ghosts, of course, on CBS, right after a new episode of Young Sheldon.
I did
Followed by
suggest that
Elsbeth.
Oh, right. I did suggest that I was going to watch Ghosts. I have not.
Dr. Phil's going to be on Fallon.
Great.
Yeah.
Seems like a swell fella.
Yeah. Kirsten Dunst will be on Jimmy Kimmel because that Civil War movie is coming out, I think, next weekend, I believe.
Captain America Civil War? I believe it came out a few weeks ago. Is she reprising her role as Mary Jane in Captain America Civil War? I feel like there should be more hype for a remake of Captain America Civil War.
No, it's a new movie. It's like an A24 movie. Nick Offerman is the president. Jesse Plemons plays a hard military guy.
They're married.
Who?
She and Jesse Plemons.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
I did not know
that.
that.
They're in this movie together.
Right.
And and that's Kristen Wiig will be on Seth Meyers. She's hosting SNL on Saturday. Season 2. It is the season 2 finale of Invincible on Prime Video. And that's.
You marry Kirsten Dunst, like.
Kirsten.
Whatever. Kirsten Dunst.
Don't get it wrong.
But how quickly into the relationship do you attempt to have her recreate the upside down makeout scene from Spider-Man? Like, is it 6 weeks? Like, what's the time period in which you at least broach the subject of recreating the upside down makeout scene?
I'd probably say as soon as you get to that base of.
Like that you got to know she's not like going to be such a nerdy fan. Like, oh, this guy's just a fanboy. I'm going to have to run away, right? Like, it's got to be deep enough into the relationship that like you've built up a little bit, but you got to do it. Like, imagine being with Kirsten Dunst and not attempting to recreate that scene at some point.
Yeah, I might even say 4 weeks. I don't want to squander that opportunity.
Okay, so that is an interesting point, right? That like imagine if she breaks up with you and you never accomplished it. No, exactly. I understand what you're doing. So is it worth the risk of losing Kirsten Dunst? I gotta think about that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna risk her coming to her senses.
You don't want to fumble the bag though in all of this. We got to get to the bottom of this. Work on that. Get that answer for us.
It's under 4 weeks.
Check. No, just try to track down Jesse Plemons.
Oh, okay, and ask him.
So we'd like to have you on. It will only take 2 minutes. It will not. We don't need the time that other people ask for
I'll track down
interviews.
Tobey Maguire as well, get his thoughts.
But do they date?
I don't think they dated, but I feel like he would, have some good insight.
Well, he would certainly know a thing or two about the upside down makeout scene, 100%. But I don't know that they ever dated to like have him. I just want to know how deep into the relationship before you cross that bridge. And for me, I feel like I wouldn't become. Now, I'm also not Jesse Plemons. I am not Fat Damon. Like I don't have as much going on for me. So I would have more risk of like she deciding, oh, that's what you want to do. No, I'm out. Right? Like that would be a bit greater risk for me. So I might have to wait it out a little bit longer. He might have been able to go for it a little bit sooner. Breaking Bad, the whole thing. Like he had a lot going for him. Don't know. Would like to know. It's important stuff. We got to get to the bottom of that. Everything else, GlennClarkRadio.com. Thanks today to Jalen Green, Baltimore native, James Madison, edge rusher. Thanks to Chris Braswell, Baltimore native, Alabama edge rusher. Thanks also to Jud Fabian of the Bowie Baysox, new Loyola basketball coach Josh Loeffler. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh, my God, it's so good.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow on the program, Stan will be in studio with us. Janet Marie Smith will join us to share her thoughts on the passing of Larry Lucchino. It's something that we wanted to wait until Stan was here for because Stan knew Larry and Stan's been a champion for Larry, trying to get into the Orioles Hall of Fame. And so I just wanted to save that conversation for when Stan was here. And we're going to preview the Pirates.
We'll preview the Pirates.
Stuff and things.
Stuff and things.
Stuff and things. Thanks, everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners. including Roos Chris, Live Casino and Hotel, Atman's Deli, AJ Michaels, Guilford Hall Brewery, Royal Farms, Costas Inn, Glory Days Grill, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Have a great Thursday evening. Go nobody. Duke sucks.